Thanks. You're Weston.
Yeah.
We'll call the meeting to order. You're recording.
Yes.
Changes to the agenda.
Yeah, I think we ought to move number 7 to the front.
Can we just have, we have 6 people on for
The FEMA.
for number 4.
Okay, you want to, so after 4?
That would be,
And then, well, we will probably talk about, I don't know where you want to talk about, but we got some back taxes to discuss and failure to collect taxes on FEMA sale.
Is there additional items?
Well, I was gonna do it under old and new business.
I see, okay.
And we got salt to talk about.
yes, we got that email.
And I would also say, well, this is under old business, the lights at the bakery, whether we're gonna do
Yep,
anything
that's
about
on my
that.
list.
Thank you for bringing that up, yep.
Okay. So we'll go to number 4, 708 Main Street. Are all the players in?
I believe so.
Where should we start on this? Cause I've been given 2 opinions.
So the,
Well,
the full report right here is that Chandler did, and he is right here. It's a bunch of pages, so I only printed 1 copy. I did email them all to you. I don't know if you scrolled through.
I did.
But 708 Main Street was flagged as a property that should be looked into further. Out of our 3 files.
Right.
So we applied for a grant with Sue at Wyndham Regional to help us pay for that. Chandler from Wait and Hendel came down, did all the work, and now, so that's the report. So now we as a select board have to, or you guys have to decide whether to move forward with more testing or what you wanna do.
what's more testing gonna prove?
I do not know.
Yeah, I would love to hear what Chandler and Susan and Rachel have to say on the subject.
Yeah, would you like me to kind of walk through the findings quickly, and then maybe we can talk about recommended next steps, and then if you decide to proceed with it, potential sources of funding, of which there are several different avenues to go. So the phase 1 process, you know, we look at kind of the environmental site history of the parcel, both historic and current. Ultimately, you know, what we're really doing is covering your environmental due diligence as a prospective purchaser of the property. So kind of the gist of our main findings, there's kind of, I don't want to call them different levels, but so there's things called recognized environmental concerns. So those are conditions where there's potential for historic or future release of a kind of chemical or substance, what have you. Then there's business environmental risks, which are kind of like a step below that. There's no evidence of a release, but there could be some sort of environmental risk or physical risk. And so that's kind of the general gist of those definitions in layman's terms. And so what our findings were, I know in the site nomination form, then elsewhere there was mention of a historic heating by fuel oil. And there's no documentation of removal of the tank. We find time and time again at older buildings that are older, even if they've updated their heating source to natural gas or propane or what have you, a lot of times tanks did not get removed back in the day. And so that's flagged as a wreck because there's no documentation of the removal of the tank. So if the town were to purchase the property and you had, a tank on your hands, that, there's implications there that you would have to deal with. And so this is a pretty common, this isn't like something big or scary. This is a pretty routine wreck that is found in phase one ESAs. The other wreck, which a lot of times wouldn't be called a wreck, is the potential presence of hazardous building materials. That's lead, asbestos, and PCBs. And so we categorized it as a wreck because the planned reuse of the property as demolition of the building. And so if there were any of those materials in the building, there's the potential to release it to the environment, impact worker safety and everything if those materials aren't characterized. And honestly, because of the age of the building, you're going to have to do a pre-demo survey regardless, because those waste streams have to be categorized for at minimum those three things. And so the pre-demo survey is a little bit different than the has building survey. And so I did get quotes from contractors we routinely use for these kinds of services. And so they would do kind of a pre-demo survey, which is essentially you collect an amalgamation of building materials that gets sent to the lab to run an analysis to see if this building went to the landfill, what's the leachability of lead and some of this stuff out of those materials. And that's because of the age of the building. So, there's no necessarily overt evidence that these materials exist, but because there's no evidence to the contrary that they don't exist, and based on the age of the building, which is pre-1980s, a number of bans for lead, PCBs, and asbestos in building materials kind of occurred in the 1978 to 1980. So that's why that's flagged. The other two findings, the business environmental risks. One, in some old wastewater site plans we found, actually for a neighboring parcel, it notes that the subject parcel has a dry well septic system. And so we flagged that not as an environmental concern, but more of a physical risk if you're doing the site work there, particularly if there's heavy machinery driving around and stuff. If there is a dry well there, there's risk of collapse of the structure. So that presents a physical risk to future worker safety, but also even if it didn't happen then, if that structure is there 10, 20, 30 years from now, it could, risk collapsing. So then the final one is the presence of the on-site potable water supply well. Our staff member did find a water supply well there, and in a separate set of wastewater plans for the property to the south, they did note that water supply well. There's no tag on the well, so we can't find the information. I did some digging based on our title search, which is not a legal title search, but we do look through property records just to see ownership, to see if that has any environmental implications. And I did find the well, I believe, well, the well of interest I found was installed in 68 and had the same name of an owner that purchased it in the early 60s. So I do have maybe some well information on that well. So the question about that is we didn't access it and open it. It's possible the well's already been abandoned and it's just that stick-up casing that is still there. That typical of, I'm sure folks are familiar with what a water supply well looks like, that 6-inch steel. A lot of them have the blue cap. Could be that the well is already abandoned and that they just left the steel sticking up. However, until the well is accessed, we're not going to know that. But that's flagged as a risk because it is required by state regulations that all water supply wells that are no longer in use have to be properly abandoned. Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that pause because you're done, or are you going to get to item 5?
I'm
Chandler.
sorry. Item 5?
Oh, that was me being a wise ass. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you know for sure there's a buried oil tank there?
No. So there's no evidence either way that there is or there is not. Again, it's more of a because there was mention of it, and due to the age of the building, it's kind of it gets flagged. It's quite possible that the tank was already removed. But potentially, if you're demoing the building and then excavating around the building to remove foundation and other things, it would be a nasty surprise to encounter a tank.
Is there how much? How do you find out that there's a tank? I mean, somebody's gonna have to go around with a metal detector or some damn thing and find the tank, right?
Yep. So the recommendation for both that tank and then the dry well septic, it's called ground penetrating radar. So it's basically, the size of a snow thrower. They would go around and do this GPR survey, which kind of sends magnetic fields to the ground, and then it kind of plots the subsurface, and the technician is able to see anomalies that would be consistent with buried utilities, tanks or septic utility.
You said abandoned well. Where is the water source for the house coming from now?
My understanding from what we were told is the utilities right now aren't functional, but the assumption is, again, there's no record of the water supply, but there is a water supply well on the property.
But
You're not
but-
making sense.
That's confusing.
there is a wellhead sticking out,
Yes.
and you don't think that's functional.
We don't know
Where-
one way or another.
Well, whether it was, but do you, where's the water coming from or 5 years ago, where was the water coming from in that house?
The assumption is it's at that water supply because it's on their property. I mean, the thing is, we're not 100% certain of that, but we can be fairly certain that the water supply was coming from that well.
Okay, so that
So
well
your
is in
choice
the
of
ban.
words are misleading.
Yeah, well,
And that's required by the state to be abandoned, for us to physically have it closed off, right?
yeah.
Yes, correct.
And that's part of what we're trying to get, but we have money for this second phase, is that right, Shona?
There could be possible
There could
funding
possibly be
options.
funding
We'd
for
have
it.
to apply for them.
Okay.
Sage,
From what
Yeah, go ahead.
From what I'm looking at here, there's a potential bill for doing all this. This place is in an estate. And so is it gonna be legal if we ask for money to cover all the stuff that they wanna do from the FEMA buyout fund? You know, if they're gonna give them X number of dollars
For the property, yeah.
for the property, and then we're gonna have to, somebody's gotta spend X number of dollars to clean all this up. Is it gonna be possible to deduct that from the purchase price?
Right, good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah, that's, I mean, assuming we,
Susan's got the answer.
sorry,
I don't necessarily have the answer, but I do know that that is possible. But also, we may have some funding sources, and FEMA may cover some of those costs.
I read
We
that.
would have to figure that out once you decide if you want to go forward.
Well,
This is sorry, go ahead. Apologies.
I'm not too in favor of the town putting a bunch of money into this when there's a buyout, somebody's gonna get paid for the building. It should be deducted. It's like any other real estate transaction. If there's things that have to be fixed, it's deducted from the purchase price.
Yeah,
yeah, I,
this gentleman was gonna say
Yeah, it's
something.
this gentleman Sage was gonna say.
Sage,
Hey, folks. Sage Franz here with VEM, agency administering the FEMA funds. I'll have to add just a little bit of color and then help the town make a decision here. Just taking a step back on the nature of the project and the context of the environmental work taking place. I believe in general, these assessments are important for a property being purchased and then giving to another owner who will either develop on it, live on it, commercial lot, people living on it, et cetera. Just for context here, this property is going to be bought by our dollars, demolished by the state, deed restricted in perpetuity. So no development, no people living on it, working on site. The state will handle the demolition, termination of utilities, including the septic tanks, removal of any storage tanks as a part of it, capping of wells in accordance with federal and state requirements. There is money for that. Other items like a phase 2 environmental assessment, things like that, there is not FEMA dollars at least available for that. But ultimately it is the town's decision on what to do next, whether it's to continue to have the buyout move forward and we pay for the purchase, the legal, the demolition, clear the site, or if the town would like to do more testing and evaluation. And ultimately that's the town's decision. And on our side, we are putting a pause on the acquisition until the town decides, what to do next. So hopefully that answers some color, and I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Sage, did you just say that the state is going to get rid of the tanks and decommission the water? So
Demolition
what
will
are we
take
talking
place.
about?
Correct. As a part of demolition, if the property has tanks that will be removed, if there's wells that will be capped, that's the federal requirement, and any other utilities will be terminated as well. That is a part of the demolition process, so it is covered by the federal grant.
So I'm
So,
not sure why that if the state is gonna do all that and pay for it, what do we have to decide? What's our decision here?
For
Rachel,
the, sorry, go ahead.
Rachel, you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna I can speak to that a little bit from the state contaminated sites program regulatory side. So it sort of sounds like the decision that we have left to make is the RECs that were identified and what to do about those. Basically, from our perspective,
The oil tank, the hazardous
RECs?
materials and the
yeah,
hazardous.
so that the potential oil tank and that potential PCB, asbestos, and lead in the environment associated with the building. From our perspective, we don't require additional work based on the phase 1. It's up to the town to decide how much risk they want to take on based on the findings of these phase 1 reports.
So.
Rachel,
Can I
could you
short
talk about
circuit
Brella?
this a little bit? If the
Sorry.
select board was to move a motion that proceed with it, and the state is taking care of everything they're gonna take care of, as long as it doesn't cost us, the taxpayers, money, it's a go. A simple wording that, we don't dump a bunch of money into this.
What was the first part of that question? I think there were a couple.
If we passed a amendment that, go ahead, tear it down. Sage says state's gonna take care of a bunch of stuff and everything. I think I'm speaking for everybody. We're kind of wondering why we've got to go into this stage 2 if there's money to take care of all these things.
That would provide going through that process, and I think Sue Westo was about to talk about the Brella program. So those provide additional liability protections for the town, basically. Going through the phase 2 process and the cleanup process, if contamination is identified in the environment during the phase 2. The Brella program specifically is a state liability limitation program that the town can enter. What that does is it takes a property through the phase 2 and cleanup process and provides state liability protection at the end of that process. That program can give you access to apply for additional funding, but it doesn't guarantee funding, but it gives access to apply for additional state and federal NRPC funding sources.
I'm not sure what is the liability for the town. Could you explain that? If we just sort of said yes, okay, state, you take care of it, you demolish it, you take out the oil tank if there is one, all that, state FEMA does that. What is the liability for the town?
So
that you're talking about that we need protection from?
if contamination were to be found in the future, or if there is a tank and it's removed and contamination is found associated with that, then the town is responsible for dealing with that. Once the town.
So
But I thought the state
FEMA,
was, I thought
FEMA
Doesn't it-
covers removal of the tank, but if the tank has already started leaking, then no. Then they don't cover that part? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so and Sage can confirm, but FEMA will cover the tank and the removal assessment. And then beyond that, if there was contamination found associated with the tank, any further investigation or cleanup would be the town's responsibility.
I think the upshot here is it really comes down to level of comfort with the town. And Rachel, correct me. The phase one was recommended and completed, which I think is a good effort to do, to see what's there. As a part of our buyout process with the FEMA dollars, we will demolish, we will remove tanks, cap utilities, and all that. And if the results of the phase one gives the town comfort by saying, great, based on what we saw, we're comfortable with moving forward. There was a tank there, but they're going to take it out. In the context of nothing ever being developed on this lot, no other commercial property, we're not going to put a daycare there, etc. We're comfortable. Some towns say yes, and some towns say we want to do more. Really, it's been both, either or. It's a level of comfort based on what you've seen.
But
Right, because there could be contamination in the soils, correct? And you wouldn't necessarily be testing for that, Sage, is that correct?
No, we just do the demolition activities, right? Remove
So the
debris, remove
contamination
tank.
could stay in the soil.
Or
And
whatever.
if somebody is affected by it in the future, if you're not in the Barella program, then you're not going to be protected. You might be held liable.
but that land itself is not going to be built on or used, it's not going to be a playground, it's not going to be anything at all.
That doesn't mean nobody's going to go there.
And that is the town's decision with that
Right.
with that information in mind. Yep.
And it's
Some
totally up
towns-
to you, but
yeah.
some towns that I've worked with have gone through and entered Barella because they were more comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
and
it's
entering
really just-
umbrella, what is that?
So the second
Sorry?
phase of
Phase
testing,
two.
this phase 2 of testing.
And you think we could get some grants to do that, but you're not sure. Is that right?
That is, I'm not 100% sure at this point.
And
I'm
the town
pretty
would be on board.
comfortable we could do that, though.
And what would be the timeline on finding that out if we wanted to consider that?
Well, we'd have to do it quickly if it was our funding, because the funding that I have access to currently is due to it needs to be used by June 30th.
And what is the application process for that?
Well, at this point, you just ask me, and I have to apply to our funders to find out if there's enough funding remaining in the program to do this.
Are you
Okay, and
asking
what's
what the application process for Barella is?
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's a form online. We have several resources. If you did want me to send you any information on it, there's a $500 application fee, which is non-refundable. You would submit that application to us. We would have a pre-Barella meeting with me and our Barella program lead. And that can take place before the application as well. So you're not wasting the $500 if for some reason it wouldn't be accepted.
But that's not for funding. I'm just clarifying that application is not for funding.
Yes, that's not for funding. That's for the state liability limitation program.
Andy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd like to take a short break. And I'd like to go into executive session under number 5.
What is number 5?
real estate acquisition and or ish leases. So can
Second,
we take a 5-minute break, folks, and
Yeah, I'll second that, yeah.
Do you need us still, or?
I just have to move you guys into the waiting room. And then stop recording and then.
Yeah,
5 minutes, sorry.
so we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay.
Okay,
Hold on 1 second.
Thanks, Wayne.
Recording in progress.
Everybody on board?
Yeah, we're missing.
Sage.
Randall?
Oh, he's right there.
Hey, folks. Yep, I'm here.
Chandler, not Randall, sorry. Chandler.
Jim's got a couple
I'm
questions.
sorry.
Oh, we've got,
We need to do the motion now to come out of executive session.
I'm,
Oh, we came out of, yes, we're out of, executive session and as, well, we agreed to ask this question.
Oh, that's
oh,
right.
yes.
Right. So we all agreed that we want to pursue grants to pay for these pre-inspections. We want to be indemnified in the future for this property, any issues, future environmental issues with the property. But we will do that only if, or our position at the moment is that we feel that if the grants don't come through and we incur out-of-pocket expenses to ensure that that we have no ongoing liability after this property reverts to us, that any expenses that we incur in achieving that be deducted from the purchase price that FEMA or VEM is going to pay to the current property owner, which is an estate. Have I said that right?
Yes, and we also
Yes.
want
And-
details on Rella.
So umbrella is a $500 application fee right off the bat.
That's fine, but
There's no grant for that.
there's no grant for that, but that would become part of the expenses that we have to incur to assure that the town has no future liability issues with accepting this property. And we expect to be reimbursed by the seller at closing for our expenses.
Okay, so we have to contact the seller before we.
Well, somebody has to contact the seller. And the question is, do you all, I don't understand it, sort of the protocols here. Is it us that should be contacting the seller or is it someone else?
This
I
is
believe
Sage,
that you need to,
VEM.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, with the town acting as the point of contact and the conduit to the property owner, and I gotta just check on that to see if there's anything I have to follow up with for that approach. I think it's fine, but that is a local matter with the town and the property owner in this case, just because of the nature of this also being kind of a state recommended environmental work, et cetera. So that will be
So-
between the town and the property owner.
So reading between the lines, we will have to send a letter to the estate stating that we're expecting to have any expenses deducted from FEMA purchase price and in order for this to move forward.
That's what I anticipate. I'm going to check in with the folks at VEM. I don't think we've dealt with this scenario, so we'll just check on that. But that's what I anticipate seeing.
Susan, how quickly would you know whether you have the funding for it?
I am not exactly sure. I think I should be able to find out fairly quickly within a few weeks, but that's not really guaranteed, but hopefully I could do that.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then I also will need to know exactly what, VEM is covering to make sure that we don't double do things.
Right. Is the I'm sorry, Barella? I don't know, what is that? I don't know what that is. Barella?
Umbrella, that's a program that protects you from liability that Rachel talked about. And if you want to move forward, it's a good idea to start that process because that takes a little time as well. I can send you a link to the website, or Rachel can, and they can set up that pre-application meeting.
Is that related to what you're talking about, Susan? To the grant for the phase 2 work?
No.
No, it's not.
We can
Although,
join.
if I use certain funding, it might require you to enter into Barella.
And is there a fee for entering into Barella?
$500.
Yes.
Oh, that's the
That's
$500.
application fee.
And can
Okay,
we
I'm sorry.
enter into Barella with just our phase 1 results and not do phase 2 testing?
So you use the phase 1 to apply. Once you're in, you do need to move forward with the additional work
Okay.
in order to stay in the program and
So-
receive the liability protection at the end.
And then also, if contamination is discovered in the soil or the groundwater, then you would need to clean it up. And we do have funding that
We
could
need
help
to
with
clean it
that.
up?
So the town would need to clean it up, or would it be like the cost
I think
going
if we
out
were
of the
to-
cellars?
Well, I mean,
I think we would back out. if-
But we discovered, right, we discovered this prior to the closing, right, prior to taking ownership.
Right. Oh, we do have money that can help with cleanup funding as well.
but
That was
still,
my question. Sorry, go ahead.
but still, our position doesn't change, which is to say that any expenses that the town incurs, the town is only willing to go in and start spending money on this whole program, applying, is it Brella as in umbrella, or is it Barella as in Steve Barella?
Steve
Anybody.
Barella.
It's Borella, Borella,
No, Brella,
as in umbrella.
okay, but it's not.
How clever. Okay. Our position is that, you know, we're not interested, I mean, all the liability, our position is that the liability issues, the possible contamination issues, all those are the owner's, current owner and hopefully soon to be seller's issues. And we are happy to, if it's, we're the people who can do it, to spend money to fix these problems, but only if we're going to get reimbursed for those expenditures. Because we're not winners in this thing. We you know, this piece of property comes off the tax rolls and we've got to maintain it in perpetuity. So we're sort of feeling like we're doing enough here, rather than assuming a bunch of liability or paying for a bunch of remediation on a piece of property we don't own.
Well, the cleanup would be after you own it.
No.
What?
Yeah, yes.
If you want our funding.
If
So,
we take
you know-
funding, regardless what they find, the cleanup has to proceed.
If
can't
you,
stop
maybe you could get an agreement based on the findings of the phase 2, you know, incorporate that into your purchase and sale agreement.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's what Sage is going to find out about, yes?
Yeah, I'll check if there's anything to note on that, but almost always in a situation like this, it is between the town and the property owner, kind of outside of the actual
Okay,
But,
we-
but we don't have any leverage on the property owner if we already own the property.
well, yeah, no,
Unless
You
we
would have
have
to do it ahead of time, yeah.
We'd have to do it ahead of.
we're gonna do it in the next couple of weeks. We're
We'd
gonna
have to
get,
get the contract.
Right.
yes,
That agreement.
got an agreement and get a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That binds them,
Hello, Merrill.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
all right.
So we know, we've got all the contact information on the estate and the guy and
Yes.
everything. Okay,
So do we have to make a decision tonight?
I would say that the seller has to make a decision at some
well,
point.
our decision is, we're gonna go to the property owner, and if they agree to reimburse us for our expenses in getting clear title to and with no future liability issues to us to this property, reimburse us for the expenses that we have to incur, then that's where we are. Isn't that what our agreement is?
That sounds.
Yes, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay, then suppose there's a possibility that the cleanup would be more expensive than the money than the buyout price.
Well, that's what I'm checking now. I'm not gonna say it right now.
What, okay, but you said the buyout price is 250,000? Okay.
I doubt, yeah, I would be shocked if it costs that much on a site like this.
I would too.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
that's an
asking.
awful high price.
yeah, it seems like a really high
Right.
price for that
Jake only
property.
got 175.
It is.
My question also is from a liability perspective, just, anyone who's done this kind of work or maybe even Rachel from the DEC side of the house, from what you've seen on these reports, what were the findings like, these wrecks? Are they relatively benign, or are these kind of severe? Just, I know it's hard to tell because there hasn't been a full-on investigation, of course, right? But I was just curious if that might add some color to the group's decision, or what we might be looking at in terms of cleanup, if there is any.
I could tell you about another project that I'm working on at the town of Newfane, where they had a buyout of the site of an old general store. And they purchased it after the findings of the phase 2, but after the phase 1, but additional work was required. They wanted to enter into Barilla. And so we're still going through the assessment process with them. And so far, we've been able to find funding to do that.
Okay.
Rachel might have other
That's-
examples.
Yeah,
It's,
well, I think we, just for the record, I think we get in touch with the seller and find out if they're willing to reimburse us. And if they are, I'm comfortable with moving forward with this. If they aren't, then I don't
then we
know.
walk away
If we can walk away and let him,
and let him deal with it.
yeah, because there'll be no buyout.
Right,
Because two parties have to agree to this.
right.
That is correct. It is a voluntary program for both sides.
Yeah,
So would you like me to start looking into options for funding?
And that funding is for the phase 2 study, yes?
Correct.
Okay, yes, I think we would like that, thank you.
Okay.
yeah,
Should we do that?
And we should also, so Rachel, you were going to send us the information about applying for the Brella program.
Yes, I can send you those documents from us.
Great.
okay, so,
Um,
sorry, go ahead.
no, just to answer Sage's question about the Rex, again, they're not the most intense that we see. But really is about like the town's level of comfort with taking on liability and with risk with a property. It's
Yes,
just
thank you.
additional information for your decision making.
Yep, thanks. We understand that.
So I think this is where we stand, and I'm gonna move that we are comfortable in going forward with the evaluations and getting and joining the umbrella program as long as the current owner is willing to reimburse us for our expenses.
I second.
And those would be net of any grants or support we can get,
Okay,
which we will pursue actively.
yes.
Paid to us at closing.
Yes, paid at closing. Yes, good point.
They close, we ain't got legs standing.
I know,
Right.
but we won't.
They
But-
can't close until we say yes.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
That can work.
So they, and if, so,
It's our only leverage.
okay, this is outside the motion. We don't have a second yet. But just do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, just quickly, part of discussion. We have, we communicate with the current owner. Let's say they agree, we will get a contract drawn up that says this in legal terms, enforceable terms. And, our reimbursement will happen at closing.
Would that be a part of the potential purchasing agreement? Is that what?
That's a side agreement.
That's a side agreement,
Yeah.
okay. Just curious, thank you.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
And then they have to do a side agreement for the taxes for lot 25.
okay,
Yeah, that's a different subject, but yeah,
okay.
Well, there's gonna be a list.
yeah.
So
But
where
that's
are
not
we
part of
at?
my motion.
We have a
Well, we
motion.
got a motion.
We have a
and second.
motion made
Any more
second.
discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
I
So I guess that's where we're headed. Anybody else got questions for us?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Wish us luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I am a little confused about this paper just come around, cause,
The assessment,
pardon?
the assessment.
Well, the assessment is land's 26.8 and the building's 39.1, so it's 66.9, but then it says FEMA and VEM 250 is,
That's what they're giving them.
That's what they're buying it out
so
for.
how do you go from assess?
I think that the FEMA or VEM assessment is pre-flood.
Correct.
And I think that assessment is that assessment post-flood?
That, it probably
could be.
is. It's, yeah.
If that's the
It's
new
the most
assessment,
recent assessment.
you're probably right. Okay, it's the value of the property
Pre-flood.
Right.
pre the event, whatever the event.
Oh, the
is.
appraisal? Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. It's a retrospective appraisal, giving the pre-event value just
Right.
before the flood.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Alright,
did
so
we do
that,
public comment?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
missed public comment.
We missed public comment.
Well, there was no public.
Wayne is a member of the public,
Quiet
but-
through that
Thank you,
That,
Wayne.
phase.
What? Are you ready?
We are
I
ready.
think we are, yeah.
What you have in front of you is a postcard. And it should be, the warning is the legal warning that is in the newspaper. And is the official legal warning. I've added one phrase at the bottom because people need to know that if they go on Zoom, they can watch, but they can't participate. They cannot vote. That's the state law. Otherwise, that's pretty much that is the warning. And on the addressee side, message from the select board that asks those people to come to the meeting and decide whether or not they want to take the grant.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
And, yeah, and just for the record, I got a note from, which I think we ought to discuss under this item, but maybe we ought to, it doesn't have anything to do with approving this.
I guess the execution of this is Kim's rule. Kim?
You're executing the postcard? Yeah.
I have never done that before,
Okay.
but I
On
can
Sage-
check.
Does Sage still want to be on here? Sage just checking in.
I was checking to see if you still needed me. Is this my cue to go?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
But thank you
We'll
for
follow up
joining
again.
into the next part of the agenda. That was hilarious.
But please feel
Absolutely.
free to weigh in on these.
Yeah,
special
would you, do you have
Yeah.
opinions on the special meeting?
Open to the public.
Yeah.
No, nothing on my end. Thank you all again. And
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell.
bye now.
Thank you.
So I've never done the postcard before. It was always done by Planning Commission, I think is the one that has done it. I can check with
Okay.
Jeff Brown.
Well, one of you should do it. So you guys.
Yes,
can
we
figure
understand
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want it addressed to people specifically, or do you just want it to go to all voters?
It's gonna go to named persons. The checklist.
So
The voter
the-
checklist,
The
yes,
voter checklist.
yes.
That's why.
One
it's
to every
it's
voter.
not a mass mailing, it's an individual mailing.
Right,
To get more
Okay.
attention.
So to all
Alright.
the voters, not all the residents, is that
Yeah.
what I just heard? Is it
Not
different?
residents, but voters.
Got it.
yeah.
Can I suggest that, it will be available for viewing by Zoom and either we put the Zoom address here or we say the Zoom address is available on the town website. So they know where to go for the,
We don't have the Zoom.
we don't have it right now.
The link will be available on the town website.
Yeah, yeah. Can
That
we add
makes
that
sense.
sentence?
Yeah, available
Nice,
on
nice
town.
move.
Well,
Nice.
GNAT is streaming it, so once I figure out how they want people to access, I will.
So we're not gonna do Zoom, we're just gonna do GNAT?
Correct.
Oh, well, then
I
it
don't
shouldn't
like
even
to do-
say Zoom here.
Because we talked to the Walker people
Mhm.
and they're ready for Zoom.
I spoke with the Walker people and they know that GNAT is coming to film.
I know they know that, yeah.
But they're also,
So
I
you're
don't
gonna
have
have
any way to
both.
get Zoom over to, I mean, unless they have computers set up, I can bring this machine, but I don't. It's not, we're not set up
Let's
to
take
have
that-
200 people on
Take that to
Zoom.
the side. I'll talk to James.
Sure.
Okay,
here's a question.
So.
Okay, I've got a
We
couple.
won't mail this until we know the answer.
Okay.
All right,
Right,
great.
and if we're not doing Zoom, then we don't need that sentence I've just suggested, so yeah, okay, go ahead.
I got a couple questions that will have to be answered that day. Number one. Where's the money coming from? Because when we applied for this grant, Jim publicly said that we would not be after any taxpayers' dollars for this program. Now it's reversed. So where's the money coming from and how's it gonna get paid back?
that's, I mean, that's, part of accepting this grant is we have to commit to financing the overage. That's just a rule.
No, it's not a rule. You
Well-
applied for $3.7 million grant. You didn't get all the money. Now, to get the 3 million, you've got to come up with the money. And that's not what I signed up for when we applied for the grant.
Denny,
Now, wait a minute,
okay,
let me finish. So here we are going to the voters for 600 and some odd $1,000. We have no idea where the money's coming from, and we have no idea how it's going to get paid back. How's that going to make us look? at the town meeting if we don't have something in order.
Okay, so I would suggest, I completely agree with you, and that's absolutely going to be a question from the voters. And so we should decide as a select board
Right.
where we could get that money from. What are the options for getting that money? Is it a a loan from a bank? Is it a bond issue? Is it a loan from the special funds that the select board, that the town has? Those are some options that we could use, but we should come up with what those options are, and then people can decide, well, okay, I don't want to take money from those funds. I don't want to use that process. And so therefore I'm going to vote against this, or they're going to say, yes, that's okay, take it out of the special.
But we should have a place that we're taking it from that we've already agreed to, walking
Well,
into it.
Or some options for where it could come from.
My understanding is that all we need to do is say that we will come up with the money if we have to. That's all that's required. We just need
That's all that's required for the grant, absolutely. That's not all that's required for the people of the town. They're gonna wanna know where the money's coming from.
Yeah. I think they are.
I know they are.
I mean, it's coming from one pocket or another, right? I mean,
it's
Well,
coming from our taxpayers.
Right.
That's where it's coming.
right, one pocket or another, right?
But in what way? And how long will it take to pay it back and that sort of thing?
well, the other alternative is do a fundraiser to raise the money.
Yeah. And that's yet another option. So we've got 3 or 4 potential options.
I don't, just, we applied for the 3.6, $3.7 million. We only got 3. And one of the conditions of getting the grant, and this wasn't in our grant proposal.
Right.
Our grant proposal did not say, hey, if you don't give us all the money, we're out. We need all the money or we're not gonna do it. The grant proposal was for all the money.
Right.
And now they've come back and said, hey, here's your deal. Here's what we're offering. We're offering $3 million, but you've got to commit to come up with another 670 some odd. And that's too bad. I wish they gave us all of it. But if we want any of it,
We have to come up with
we
the,
have to be prepared to come up with it. And the where's it gonna come out of? It's gonna come out of taxes. Our taxpayers are gonna pay for it. And whether it comes out of some of our reserve funds, or we borrow some money from a bank and pay it back over 3 or 4 years, or pick another bunch of options. If we decide to try to raise some private money in addition to some town money, all we're never going to be able to doing a fundraiser, we're never going to be able to get that figured out before we need to
make the decision.
make a decision.
And I think we
about
have
whether
to show,
accept
don't
the
we have
grant.
to show the grant people where the money's coming from? Like
No, all we have to do is
Say
write
that
them
we're
a
doing
letter.
this.
If I understand this correctly,
A letter of
all-
intent.
we just say that we will make up the difference.
Jim, hold on.
Yeah, I think. Am I right?
No, it has to come from
Okay.
municipal funds.
It's easy to forget these things, it's such a voluminous set of requirements. But we need to demonstrate to them by by
30th.
May 16th, March 16th, that we have an identified source. And it could be a bank loan, it could be town funds, or it could be private money. But it has to be specified in the documentation we send to the state in order to get the award. We can't simply say, we're gonna get it someplace.
Well, to your
March 16th.
yeah, I understand what.
The other question is moderator. I'm thinking ahead of how that question's gonna come up. on
Of course it
February
is.
14th.
Yeah, but
And you ought to think about how you're gonna answer.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is number one, if it was going to get to this point, I'd never signed the application letter. Because we were told that we weren't gonna be looking for taxpayer money for this. Last spring at one of these hearings, I said, when people come to the select board with ideas of what they wanna do, have a way of paying for it and not rely on taxpayer money. And so here we are, got a big idea, but no way to pay for it other than slap it on the taxpayers. We just did a major overhaul of our budget. I assume you've seen that.
Yeah.
Because we were looking at 16% for the highway, 18% for town general. We cut way back on that. The state is gonna nail us with 7% increase on the schools again. That's 3 years of heavy increases. And yeah, there's some people around that can afford it and doesn't bother them, but there's a lot of working people that's hurt.
No, I agree with you.
Right, so that's why we're bringing it to the town.
And so
right? I mean,
maybe the spending's gotta slow down.
Okay, that's fine, and that's your opinion, and that will be the opinion of other people in town as well. And those will be the people who will be voting on whether we accept this grant.
That's what we're bringing it. Yeah.
But I think that we have to say, if we're gonna bother with this meeting at all. I mean, if we're just gonna decide as a select board that we're not gonna take the grant, then period, let's cancel the meeting.
Right.
But if we're gonna put it before the voters, which I believe we should do, then we need to explain to them, okay, it's gonna come out of your tax money and it's gonna come out of, we're not sure, we don't have to know until March 16th, but it might come out of the special funds, it might be an additional tax, it may be that we'll just raise the tax. You know, we will decide, but it will have to come out of the town funds.
I have a question.
And then they can decide, yes, I want it to come out of town funds, if it's gonna be, I mean, we don't even know how much it's gonna cost. Really, so, yes, it's okay with me that it comes out of town funds, I vote yes. No, I don't want this extra to come out of town funds, I vote no. And then we have the vote.
I got 2 things for you.
Okay,
Number one, are you going to tell them we were misled into applying for the grant saying?
no,
We weren't
I
missing.
would.
we weren't misled.
Yes, we were, 'cause
No.
you said at that meeting that we weren't gonna get any taxpayer money in,
if
that
we
it was
got the
gonna be
grant.
fully funded.
And so now we're going before the town and we're not putting
But
taxpayers' money. We're
That's what we
asking,
applied for,
we're
Danny.
asking the town
But
if they want to do
that's
it.
not what we got.
And
So I'm sorry that we didn't get the whole grant funded. But this is what we're sitting here for, trying to figure out. We've got somebody willing to give us $3 million, but we're gonna have to come up with 670. And if you know, if we don't take this grant, we're walking away from $3 million. The community association goes out of business, the Playhouse is dead, and there's no hope for any flood remediation. And the next flood that happens, we're gonna have $150,000 or $200,000 to fix Lawrence Hill Road again. And the entire driveway between Wilder Memorial and the Gabion Wall is gonna wash out. And that's gonna be another $50,000-$60,000 to fix that. So these are the decisions we have to make.
don't say the Gabion wall's gonna wash out. The last two hasn't washed out. They put.
No, Denny.
No.
The Gabion Wall isn't gonna wash out, but all the dirt between the library and the Gabion Wall is gonna wash out. And who's gonna fix that?
No matter what, the high water mark, forget like the Gabion Wall, like yes, the Lawrence Hill Road, all this money, the high water mark in general, in the village can be lowered from 5.5 feet down to an average of 18 inches. My question is, moving forward as a select board, do we come together and do we start going to banks and saying, and having come up with a presentation to the voters and say, we have consulted with a bank, we can get this amount of money. I mean, I would say like $1 million, whatever, because it's going to increase. The cost of all of this is going to increase. So if we go and we say, to the voters, we have consulted with a bank. It will come out of your taxpayer money, but over a period of years. How does that work? I mean, how is that not a possibility? I just feel like we need to, moving forward, this is the situation that we're in right now. I would like to consult a financial expert and see what bank would be good to deal with.
Well, Kim, you had a banking contact, did you? You and I talked about that.
Yeah, I didn't reach out to her because at some point we went a different direction. So I'll reach out to the two bankers I have a relationship with and ask them what their thoughts are. But anytime you go over 4 years, you have to do a bond for am I not correct, Denny?
That, and the last time they talked about a bond and things, the system has changed. But the old bookkeeping system that you were using,
Mm-hmm.
Tim Goodwin got that put in place in anticipation that they were gonna bond for the sewer project. And he said they had to have that type of bookkeeping system in order to qualify for a bond. So that's one question you're gonna wanna know or ask. Is the current bookkeeping system meet their standards for us getting a bond?
Okay.
If not, you're gonna have to figure out what payments would be for 4 years on that.
Well, that would be a heck of a payment. I mean, you can do the math.
I understand that, but I'm just relaying what little information I know, whether it's right or wrong, but that's what he told me when they put that type of bookkeeping system in, and then it got changed again. So I'm not sure what kind of bookkeeping system they require.
There's also the Vermont Bond Bank. I have not dealt with them at all. I just get their information, and that would be another option to look into.
I have a broader question for the group. Are we going to get together at some point and make a list or consider what questions are going to be asked so that we have that?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, great. We're going to put time.
And one of the big questions,
I'm sure all of us are.
Yeah.
one of the big questions you're gonna be asked is what's gonna happen when you have to come back for more money?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had several people tell me that this whole project cannot be done for what money you're
3.7.
talking.
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of questions, obviously, that we're gonna have to answer, but I think it will be important that we, as Wayne suggested, that we have an answer. We know what
We
those
have an
questions are.
option to present.
Yeah, that we know those questions are gonna come up.
And there's many others, and I don't know if this is the time to go further into this, maybe not, but well, let's get the list together, and then I want to make sure that I understand what we're actually voting on at that meeting, because my brain goes 4 different ways on that.
Oh, I want to say something that's obvious but hasn't been said. If you're gonna pay back $674,000 in 4 years, that's a humongous hit to the budget.
Yeah, and we've already got one
Which
hit.
means, the obvious sensible answer is to bond it out over 15 years.
Yeah.
At 2%, or 3.5%. Then you might be able to eat that, at a little bit at a time, but geez, and grow, trying to get.
Well, I think the town and the state are headed to a major crossroads lane. The state is trying to buy its way out of this education mess that they've got. And from what I've been told, last year they threw $100,000 in. This year they're throwing $75,000 in, but they're taking that money out of, I guess, a tobacco payment.
Yeah, but the bond funding is not in the state budget.
Right, but what I'm saying.
Bond bank has its own source of money.
But what I'm saying is, this education thing, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, I know, no question that there is inflation coming, whether it's.
And it's the ability to pay.
I don't disagree, but I go back to what Brian just said. And Katie, this is a mitigation process to save the village from the next big flood. And that's the real question. And I guess the question in my mind is it worth $674,000 to relieve the pressure of flood to come on the village? I don't know the answer. I don't take a position on that because I'm a moderator, but that's the question.
Yes, of course.
Well, and let me just add, that in the town report here, we have special funds that we have been accumulating over the years to pay for depreciation and, to my mind, anticipate, emergencies like this, a bridge rebuild. Our total balance in those funds is $1.695 million. So, and every year we add $300,000 or $400,000 to those funds. So we're, drawing down those funds over a 4-year period, or, we financed that. So everybody says, oh, it's going to be a huge hit, but we put $300,000 or $400,000 into those funds every single year to anticipate these kinds of things.
No, wait a minute.
And just,
But the question is how fast do you want to be?
well, yes,
Wait.
exactly. But we've been very careful and very conservative about this. And I think there are going to be times when when you need the money.
Jim, you and I had this conversation, and you told me a story about your yacht club down there, putting money aside to build a new docking system. You got a bunch of new members in, and they see that pile of money sitting there, and they want to spend it on this and that, and you were ugly about them spending the money that had been put aside for a docking. So right now, you're flopping 180 degrees.
No. My story was that they said, oh, we've got all these funds set aside for an expense we know is coming. And therefore, so now it's time to cut our dues so we don't have to spend any more money on it. And this, I think that we need to, as a town, continue to appropriate, $300,000-$400,000 a year to these reserve funds, because that's, in my view, that's the prudent thing.
Also, a comparison of a yacht club to the well-being of the village.
This town is not a yacht club, by the way.
Yeah, like the well-being of the village. I mean,
But if you start doing this is just the tip of the iceberg, because down the road, the next time they want like sidewalks, oh, we'll just take it from the special funds money. Laugh, right, Wayne? It's just tip of the iceberg.
Of course it is, Denny.
Totally.
And nobody's disagreeing with you, but
Then why the hell have we ever started these funds to pay for certain things? Like, we've got the bridge fund. We've been told we got 3 bridges on Greendale Road that need work. That's gonna chew up a hell of a chunk of that money.
but we're not going to take it out of the bridge fund. We have funds other places.
You've got funds,
so I think the question, you're right.
Yes,
We have
you are right.
1.6 million, whatever you said it was, in the special funds. And if this is, if Katie's right, this is going to use most of that, more than half of that special fund money. But we can potentially spread it out over time. And in some ways, what we're doing is funding a special fund to take care of floods.
That are inevitably going to happen.
Bonus.
With a $3
Yeah.
million
With a $3 million bonus.
and where are you gonna get the extra money when this shows up? You don't have enough money to do the project.
Then we'll do a capital campaign.
Well, you better start that
Or
right
you
now.
can, maybe that's the time to, I'm just saying,
These are all really good questions
yeah.
that we
and just-
need to have
Exactly.
answers
And
for.
if we walk, the alternative is to walk away from $3 million and I think that would be cutting off, I mean,
You know, I
yeah,
think
I'm sorry.
It's very clear what side you're on, it's very clear what side you're on, and that's fine. You know, you each are entitled to your opinions. We've decided to put this before the town, so we need to put it before the town. And you guys can speak at the meeting, I can speak, any of us can speak, anybody can speak at the meeting and make your point, and that's fine. But we don't need to argue that out here because we're not gonna come to an
Yeah,
answer. It's
exactly.
the town that's gonna vote on it.
Yeah,
But what we do need to do is make sure that we have answers to questions, so we look
Right,
together.
yeah.
yes, right.
Now, the question was brought up before about who is gonna speak to the general public as far as the river and all that stuff.
Right.
And Jim mentioned stone engineering, which I adamantly against, because at the meeting last spring, they couldn't answer simple questions. I don't think they're anywhere near worthy of being at the meeting and trying to answer questions, because they'll talk at such a high level above the ordinary person that nobody will understand what the hell they're talking
Who
about.
do you think who should speak? Do you have?
Well, that's why I'm asking the question.
I think that Jim should speak. I think that Jim and Jeff Brown.
Well, Jeff was talking at some pretty high level stuff that a lot of people don't understand.
Or actually, I don't mean, yeah, it's high level, but I mean, I think we're on a high level right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's been another point that has been made here, is that part of this meeting is the part of this whole project is the dam. The dam is owned really privately. It's not owned by the town. It is owned by the community association. And the community association board has voted unanimously to remove the dam.
Yep.
And so there's a question as to what town authority would have to be invoked to refuse a private owner grant money that has been applied for and awarded partially.
That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Are there going to be two separate votes, a vote for the bridge and a vote for the dam? I'm not suggesting we need to, but for that reason, right now, they legally have the ability to do what they want to do.
but I thought that they couldn't be separated.
Sorry.
Rule that out of order. So what about to the point that Jim was just bringing up, like the WCA has the ability to make that decision, right? But yet we're putting it in front of the town. Isn't that contradictory?
No, they already made the decision though.
The town is the applicant.
Yes.
It does not have its own roadway.
It's not a joint application.
No,
No.
it's a town application.
No, it's town application.
What it will boil down to is the town has a history of giving money to organizations like the rec club, the community center. They have a history of, applying for money, and the town has voted always to give it. So I would say that would set a precedent. So,
I would still do a written agreement.
right, I'm saying there's a precedent set.
Yeah, it's not a agreement.
So the town could vote
Except the award.
to accept the award.
He was the treasurer.
Right.
So it doesn't distinguish.
Right.
But these are- Some contingency. I would get is which we have the 14th of February. So it's not recommending delegated that decision of the town.
Yes.
So individually say what you believe.
Yeah.
The pros and the cons are. This one you do, it's not. Somebody like Jeff Brown. Somebody like that, somebody else. Say debate, but at least a discussion. So that we discussion, unless you want the Wild West, where people just start.
We need.
Yeah, I think we
To speak.
my own sense of how this ought to go is we ought to pick presenters. And, you know, I think each one of us can be a presenter, you know, because we have standing. Jeff Brown, head of the Planning Commission and secretary of the Community Association Board.
And head of the Weston Flood Recovery Committee.
Yeah, secretary, or, yeah, and,
Can I just?
yeah.
Just let me start something. Somebody has to simply present the facts. The arguments for and against. What are the facts of this? Budget, it's a bridge, there's a
I've asked Alyssa Savetto to do a 1 or 2 page summary of, you know, sort of factual summary.
Where's Maggie
a
Foley's
written-
contract run?
sorry?
Sorry, where does Maggie Foley also run into this? Because it was separate.
Maggie's not gonna be there, but
She
we're
won't be
gonna
there.
discuss a script that she can write.
Okay,
And her real expertise is the costs
Yeah.
that we would incur if
Okay.
we don't do the dam, which are separate than the costs if we don't do the bridge.
Right.
So,
Can I suggest?
yes,
If I were back in the business world, set up a PowerPoint, actual presentation of what the nuclear presentation. Things in it like.
you,
And those are up to the, if this award is accepted, is to be accepted, the select board will have to decide on that source between now, the 14th and the 16th of March. It bounces back to the select.
For a neutral presenter,
Yeah, who's that?
what about the minister of the church?
John Bliss.
Yeah,
Who, I'm sorry?
John Bliss. Does he know anything about this?
I don't know. He's not a resident of Weston.
a resident.
Neither is Jeff Brown.
but it doesn't say has to be a voter.
Yeah.
We're looking
Yeah.
for somebody to present the
You're right, you're right. You're right.
facts.
It's interesting thought.
that is interesting.
John Bliss, he's minister at the church over here. He
Okay.
lives up in Andover.
Okay,
We have to give them a script.
Oh, yeah. Well,
PowerPoint.
once he's presented, he can't be a Q and A.
No,
It would be us that would be a Q&A,
And other professionals. that we
well,
have
then,
there.
then we have other,
the other
Presenters.
professionals, yeah.
and these are predetermined. We've got, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have this expert, or, this select board member, or whoever. And then at that point, we open up the meeting for Q&A and try to make sure that all the presenters have addressed as many of the questions that we can anticipate.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, and it just minimizes the the chance of having this thing turn into the Wild West in a Q&A before we've gotten all the information out.
Mhm.
Is, I'm just gonna float this idea, but so one person presenting and say like one person in the audience don't hijack the show. Is there a time limit that you can,
Yeah,
something you gotta say up front is
we have 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
2
5
minutes.
minutes, but you know what I'm saying, it can get hijacked.
Yeah, 5 is a long time.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, of course. I do.
because that would turn people off and I bet they'd get up and leave.
Do we need to have another meeting? We need to have another meeting.
Well, we've got one,
There's also.
We need to have it before then.
But
I
we
feel.
need to have it.
Yeah, we need
Always
to have
have-
it like next
You
week.
always have the
Yeah, it's a
opportunity
good
to call
idea.
the question. And when you call the question, it's not debatable. Once it gets a second,
It has to get a second and a couple of,
and 2/3,
mhm.
then you're done.
Right.
When you call it, can just one person call the question? And and somebody has to second it. I thought there was
You
a,
need 2/3 of.
yeah. But the risk of that, of course, is that if you don't get 2/3, then the motion fails.
Yeah, we just keep going. That's all.
Oh, you just keep going.
Well, the call to question, that is the chance to vote, fails right then. You go on with discussion and then somebody can call the question again.
Yep.
And say, now we want to vote.
There's an infinity of times.
Mhm.
You just
Okay.
keep calling the
when
question.
the dinner bell rings at 5, 6 o'clock, that's when let's get out of here.
And the pizza gets
It
delivered.
may be,
Yeah.
it may be the drink bill.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Bottle of beer.
Yeah, Cam,
Is this a floor vote unless someone calls a paper ballot?
Let me tell you what I plan to do. This is, although let's make believe I didn't say this.
Okay. Do you want us to go into executive session?
When it comes to call the vote, I'm gonna ask if there is a desire for a paper ballot. That's not what moderators are supposed to do. And if 7 people stand up, then you got a paper ballot. And we can load the audience to get 7.
Yeah, we're more than halfway there, yeah.
And it's gonna be a paper, it's gotta be a secret ballot. I don't think people will stand up and be pro or con. This is too controversial.
So there you go, Kim, paper ballot. You better bring some paper.
I can bring the paper. I'll need some volunteers to help. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it'll
I
just
counted
simply
last
be a
time.
yes or no, that's all, no, just a Y or an N or whatever you
Yeah.
want to do. No comment, that'll be done.
Hey, okay.
It'll be pretty important to make sure people know what a Y and what an N means.
Right, exactly. That's a good point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that should be part of the PowerPoint. Yet, you write yes, this is what you're voting for. If you write no, this is what you're voting for.
No, we're rejecting a grant.
Okay,
And there is a technical session coming up with the state people. Jim, when is that next week?
Oh, there are a whole bunch of,
I think February 2nd.
It's before the meeting.
I could be wrong.
what is that?
February 2nd, there's a meeting at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I plan to be on that.
What is that
Because
for?
these questions that we're asking here, like, can you separate the bill? Once we get the grant, let's say we satisfied them about the money. Once we get that grant, do we say, as the engineering progresses, supposing we say, holy mackerel, that, we've changed our mind. We don't want to do the bridge. We will do the dam. Is there any way to amend that grant when you're in the middle of it? Or before you've constructed?
FYI, my understanding is that we're accepting the grant does not obligate us to do either one of these programs, but if, and I think this is the more realistic scenario, let's say we get into the engineering study on the bridge and we can't find a solution for egress and ingress at the library and the height of Lawrence Hill Road and aesthetics or whatever it is. And we say, okay, we can't make this happen. We're not going to do it. At that point, the money that has been spent on the engineering or whatever money has been spent, that's on us. We only get we don't get the full grant award until the project is complete.
Mhm.
So and my thought is that honestly, if everybody is scratching their eyes out over the bridge after we've done the best we can to address all the concerns about it, and we're $100,000 into that, which is plenty to find out that answer, then we stop, and we're going to have to, the town, we're going to have to eat 100,000. That's the way it's going to work. And does that suck? Yeah, it sucks. But do we have to come up with the 670,000? No, we don't, because we're not going to spend the whole grant. But
wouldn't that 100,000, it doesn't matter. We can ask that. I think that's a good question to ask on the,
yeah,
because you don't.
I think it's an important part of the puzzle, and people need to understand that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Engineering, is this engineering going to be put out to bid?
There's a good question there's another question for the list.
I don't know.
Well, who's running the project?
That's a good question.
We would have to get some.
Yeah, well, I think this goes to local control, which is
So then we have to have an owner's representative or somebody to run the project, because we're not going to run the project. This table.
yeah, no. But we're gonna have to have somebody, bless you, running it, and I thought I was ready for round two there.
So did I.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all questions that need to be addressed.
Can we kind of look at getting together next week? Sorry.
I think we absolutely should, but before that, talking about little nitty complications, I got an email from Chris Campany at Wyndham Regional that and they are worried that we're not going to approve this grant. The town is not going to do it, and they want us to understand that if the town doesn't accept the grant, that they're not prepared to eat the ongoing expenses of helping us accept this grant. And they're doing a lot of work in that regard. So he wanted me to put this memorandum of understanding to y'all.
One for me.
We do.
Thank you.
And it says, basically, the town of Weston has requested that the Wyndham Regional Commission support the town's ongoing work to secure the CDBG DR grant and understands, should it opt to not accept that grant, that the WRC will be reimbursed for its time at Alyssa Sabeto's billable rate.
And do we know how much that is?
I don't. I think it's
It's a bit of a pig in the poke.
I'm not sure what that means.
You don't know the details.
Right,
What is her rate? I don't know.
Yeah.
right.
$100 an hour?
And how many hours are we talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know, but
Right.
if we need to know the answer to that before we sign this, I think whatever the answer is, we're in for it, because if we don't agree to this, they withdraw her, and I promise you, there's no way we're gonna be able to accept
Right.
that grant.
Right.
So that's just the way it is. And these guys are, I know I shouldn't trust anybody, but I think they just want to protect their butts, and they're not gonna soak us on this.
This paper, you want it approved before the special town meeting?
Yes,
Because going back to what Wayne said at the meeting, we as individuals, not as select board, but individuals can get up and express their views one way or the other. But if we sign this, it says the select board as a body is in favor of the whole thing.
no, it doesn't say that we're in favor of it. It just says that if the town doesn't approve the grant, and Alyssa's time, the support we're getting from Wyndham Regional, the cost of that is included in the grant, in the money that we've been given.
That's subject to interpretation, sir.
Well,
No, it's
that's how
not-
they feel about it, Jenny.
Yeah, it just
So-
says that we're on the hook
Go
for
back
it.
to 2024.
Yeah, that's right. How long does it go back?
No, from now forward,
Oh, really?
Because it looked,
on
because
the town's ongoing work.
to secure the grant. So I would think that would be whatever time she put into writing the grant to begin with, applying. because
No, I
she
think
did-
that I did, that's not what I,
So we can get clarity on that.
Yeah, can we get clarity on that?
I don't know.
Amend it. Why don't you amend it?
Oh, there's an idea.
Right, what you want it to be.
Hold on, let me just
So if
back up
we-
to his,
So what this says is, if we accept the grant, then Alyssa's cost, the cost of Alyssa's work is included in the grant funds. If we do not accept the grant, then we owe Wyndham Regional
I don't know if it's all
money
the same, but this is
for what
for
Alyssa
the
has
woman
done
who
so
helps us
far.
with the road
yeah,
grants.
and good question. I assumed it
I
was
don't know if it's
starting
comparable to
today.
what Alyssa does,
Write
but
that down.
Yeah,
it's the same company.
yeah,
She helps us with all the GIA stuff.
yeah.
The,
Town's ongoing, yeah, sorry.
Shauna just pulled this up, and there's a lady down in Wyndham Regional that helped us with the road grant. Now, she's probably below Melissa, but her hourly rate was 60, round off $65 an hour.
Yeah, so,
Wow, what am I doing working in the select?
Seriously,
yeah, well,
Yeah. Losing money by the hour.
what is happening?
So,
so why don't we just write, add in here, starting today,
and that just starting January 27th.
Starting
that
January
just goes at the
27th.
very end of the thing.
yeah.
At Alyssa's billable rate
For
starting.
before it's time at Alyssa's rate from January 27, 2026.
We could make it January 28th
I don't think she's doing a whole lot of work tonight.
or today. I don't know.
20, well, okay,
28th.
28 is fine. Okay. Y'all comfortable with that?
Yes.
No,
No.
I don't like the message it's sending.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
What message? What's the
So
message?
Denny, just to be clear, well, never mind.
What is the message you think it's sending?
That contrary to what Wayne said, that each one of us can say whatever we want at the meeting.
Okay.
This here is saying the select board is all for everything and want them to do the work and we'll pay the bill, or the bill will get paid.
Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I think what this is saying is that we acknowledge that if we don't accept the grant, that they've spent some money on, or they will potentially spend some money between now and then on the application, and we owe them money for that because we're not accepting the grant.
If it turns down on February 14th, you will work from the 27th of January to the 14th of February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a strong feeling this is going a bit further back than that, but let's see.
Well,
That's
This is
we're
what,
agreed.
this is what we're gonna agree to,
Understood, understood.
and I'm gonna send this to,
And
if
see
we
what he
approve
says.
it,
Right.
I'm gonna send it to Chris and
Say yes or no.
he'll say yes or no.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to.
Well, hang on,
Motion on that?
so I'm gonna move that we accept this memorandum of understanding.
I second.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, you got it.
Further
Take it
discussion.
this one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, yeah.
It's not unanimous.
We have to sign it. I'll take a picture of it and send it to Chris.
I'm gonna bring a heart-shaped box of candy to the 14th.
Hey,
I think one of those really
Valentine's.
big ones. Well, there was 45.
Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, appreciate it. Bless you.
There it is.
I know.
It was coming.
It's here.
Okay, we're down to,
Bless you.
Sorry.
Moving over here.
Number 5, approval of land purchase.
yeah, we were supposed to do a resolution to, purchase it and,
Right.
So I'm gonna move we approve this.
It's already signed, right?
yeah, we already own it.
But we didn't have it in the notes, I think there's a thing, or.
Oh, I think we,
Bye,
We
Wayne.
got a copy of it.
Yeah, it's a copy here, so that you signed Denny on the 17th, right?
Right, so we just need it in the minutes that
Right.
the whole board approved. Purchase.
I move we approve the resolution authorizing the purchase of 1047 Route 100.
I second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's go, I guess we need to do about the same for pay raise. Number 6. Yeah, sign. It's,
This was already started, right? Signatures, no? Did I sign this? Was this on the?
no,
You haven't signed this yet.
this is, we need a resolution to, have these pay raises take effect the 1st of July.
I make a motion for these pay raises to take effect starting July 1st. A raise of 3.5%.
You know, this says to take effect July 25. I think that means July 26.
Yeah, it's a typo.
Yeah.
All right,
And there were 2 adjustments that start January 1st, but
Yeah.
I haven't implemented that yet. Waiting for this.
So I move that we accept this as amended.
Second.
Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
You wanna do the annual budget meeting agenda tonight? Or,
Minutes.
yeah, the minutes.
And so we're not doing this postcard thing, right? Because
We already did it.
Wayne has a different postcard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you are, sir.
So are we doing the select board meeting or the special meeting, budget meeting? What are we doing?
yeah.
I'm gonna start at the easy end. I'm gonna move approval of the liquor control board minutes from January 13th, 2026.
I second.
Any discussion? Okay. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
And I could move for the budget meeting agenda for January 6th, 7th, and 8th to approve those ones.
I second.
Hang on, sorry, what? Which one are we doing?
6th, 7th, and 8th, it should be the next one up on your list, yeah.
Did it get passed on the one that,
Oh, yeah, you know what, I think I.
don't, I looked to me like it might have gotten
You can
buried.
keep it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just means you have to.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I move that we accept the minutes, the draft budget minutes, budget meeting minutes from January 13th and 14th, 2026.
I have one change on that from the last paragraph that says the town discussed plans for a special town meeting instead of the board.
Got that too. Good job, Brian. It's the last paragraph on the first page. It should say
Oh.
the board.
The board.
With the corrections or motion.
I move that we approve them as corrected.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Second.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there's another one.
I have some other there. Next, second page, Wayne confirmed it can be voted on at this meeting. And the warning article was reviewed by Jim Linville. Oh, no, the warning article was reviewed, period. Jim Linville moved to approve the warning. Got those?
Yes.
Flip the page.
With the corrections, is there
Approval as corrected.
I second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have the liquor control board.
Or we just did that? It was the first one.
was
wasn't it?
the
Yeah,
first
we
one.
did it, and it should be coming around to you. The signed copy.
Oh, maybe I sent that.
Oh, wait, it's right here.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
Keep those going around.
Here you go. For you, sir.
Yeah, you guys just want paper to start the fire with, that's all.
Yeah.
So on the select board meeting minutes, my name is spelled wrong 4 times.
Every time.
Every time. Under the people present,
Okay.
It's
Oh, yeah.
NIJOKI, under number 2, the motion. Under number 4, the motion.
Hit correct once, then it will just collect them all, and then if I stare at it too long, I just
Can't tell.
lose
I
it.
did, yeah.
I just am like, yep.
7 and 11 also. But you did get it right on the signature part, which you probably didn't touch.
I have just a question. I want to make sure it's clear on number 5, public comment with Gretchen Hauser. The last sentence is Hauser also asked about her role as delinquent tax collector and her availability for select board meetings. Does that say it the way it happened? Maybe I'm getting too technical. Was she questioning her availability? Was she asking for clarity on when she's supposed to come here, or is that the same thing? Maybe it is.
She was asking for why,
When she had to come.
when she had to come.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
That's good. I think it could be clarified. Also asked about her role as delinquent tax collector and when she was expected
When she's
to.
required, when she's
When-
required to attend select board meetings.
Good. When she was required to attend select board meetings.
Everybody good with the corrections?
Mhm.
I move we accept the minutes as corrected.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Other, I can see some orange.
Did you have 2 there?
This is me.
Share it if we need to.
All right, before you go, you do the payroll.
Yeah, I move to approve check warrant report number 2 for payroll in the amount of $12,818.52.
A second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Before we go to the next one, the paper was handed to me, and I've got it mixed up here someplace with addition to the total amount.
Yeah, that's the 313. Yeah,
Oh,
so hold on, page. I'm gonna move that we approve accounts payable check warrant report number 2 in the amount of $43,749.71 plus $333.16 for other stuff. It's set out in the.
Sorry, it was for the credit card statements that we didn't receive for November and December. It wasn't huge, but we just hadn't been sent them or they got lost in the mail.
All right, okay.
So I just want the check to go out tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, has somebody done the arithmetic? Do we have a total there?
no,
Hold on.
you got it? And you're gonna sign.
Yeah, I think your minutes ought to show a total.
I always go to my calculator.
Yeah.
It's a paper cup.
That'll be $44,082.87. Let me just check my work here.
I got $44,082.87.
Thank you. Yeah, I got it the second time too, so
All
that's
those
the
in
number.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
second that? I didn't write it down, so.
Who moved it? Oh, I did.
Yes.
I second.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10, old and new business, as you know, there's a problem getting salt, and Jeff has a lead on getting a couple loads out of Albany, possibly, cops from known at the moment. It's trucking and what they're gonna charge, but basically told him to get it wherever he can, and you have to eat it.
So we've had to use too much. Is that more than we had stockpiled?
More than we had a contract to buy.
Oh, I see.
We signed a contract with Cargill
Right.
for X number of tons.
45, that's so huge.
And
God, it's amazing. We go through.
it's been used up, and apparently they don't have any more. Apparently what they do is they contract with some company,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna get any more this winter. Number 2. Taxes on these FEMA buyouts. The first one that went through, the homeowner paid their share up until the date of transaction. From what I can find out, that's it. We lose the rest. Now, the second one was transacted, and the attorney did not collect taxes due to the transaction date.
The attorney, who's attorney?
Ours.
Okay.
So a claim should be filed for errors and omissions. The third one, which is still in discussion,
The one we talked about tonight.
right? The attorney should be made aware to collect the entire tax bill for 25.
2020. Yeah. Did they pay 2024?
I don't have the list in front of me.
Okay.
Collect any back to taxes.
Yeah. I think we would say any back taxes, yeah.
So do we wanna ask Shauna to send her a letter, or how do we wanna handle that when it
Her
comes?
being the estate or her being Gretchen Hauser?
No, the attorney.
Meryl.
Who's doing it first, Meryl?
Try not to mention names, but yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that should be part of the normal process, shouldn't that?
That's why I asked if a claim should be made on errors and omissions for the second transaction.
I would think so.
And then while we're talking about it, I don't know where we ended up with the tax question that was on the table in the springtime. Where's that set?
Can't hear you.
Sorry. Which, are you talking about the very first buyout that occurred, the red
Not
house?
the buyout. This is where property was sold and no taxes were collected. They're due, but somebody told the attorney that
Oh,
they're all paid up, and we got some money sitting out there.
So we were paid. That came back in a letter to Jim some time ago that the closing attorney for the buyer had made good on that to the mortgage company that had paid the back taxes on behalf of the buyer, because I believe they were refinancing. The town's been made whole. The attorney was not at all happy with having to make good to the mortgage company and wanted the town to address it, and nothing ever happened. But it's, part of it was, he said, she said. I thought I said the taxes are not paid. The attorney doing the research thought they were. And it just escalated from there. They didn't get collected at closing. We made several attempts. In the end, there was a refi that went on for the new buyers, and the mortgage company that was handling that chose to pay the back taxes. Does this make sense?
Yeah, we were paid. We are whole, is what you're saying.
We are
Yeah.
whole on that one.
But the attorney is out.
The attorney is out. I would hope that they would have gone and had their insurance cover it. But the letter that was sent to us quite some time ago was, I'm not aware if it was addressed.
Yeah, well, I sent that out to all you guys. We've had
Vaguely
several
familiar.
conversations
Yeah.
on it, and I think we could let that sleeping dog lie.
Seems like it's been lying.
Yes, exactly.
Kim, to your knowledge, is this third property 708, is that paid for this year?
You know, off the top of my head, I think it is, if it's not on a delinquent list that you're looking at.
I
We
have,
don't, do we have a delinquent?
I do, but I fortunately don't know the
Okay.
property number or the name, and I know we're not supposed to do names here, so I don't know the property number.
Markham Associates or Mark, something with an M and Associates.
I think it's Mark Madison Group.
I don't know why I keep
Yeah,
sneezing.
Mark Madison.
Yeah, I
That
think
is
that's
not
right.
on this list.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is where it gets
Mark Madison.
complicated. If somebody comes in to do research,
Yeah,
That's the.
they just say, I need a tax bill and is it paid? And we say, here's your tax paid bill, and we now give them a printout to show it has a zero balance. So we don't always know what they're operating on. On these properties, by golly, we should have known and said they're paid through the calendar year for the town and the fiscal year for education. But some calculation needs to be done to prorate based on when your closing is. That is something I absolutely have never done for any attorney's office. They always do it themselves.
Yeah, the proration,
Right,
right, the attorney should do that. Yeah.
right. So I realize that this is all new. Should have had a red flag, didn't. And I did call another town, someone Denny and I had talked about the other day, and they said, yeah, the owner of the property pays up until closing, and then it's usually prorated and the buyer pays the rest. And that would be us, except we aren't the buyer yet. So that should have been part of the closing with FEMA. And that's what I'm assuming would have to happen with this next closing. So,
They are not on the current list.
right, so they're,
So
so
they're
all
okay.
they,
They're paid up then.
all that existing property has done is paid some portion of the school taxes, and they have paid the prior calendar year taxes. They've not paid anything for 26. And that's something that would have to be cleared up at closing.
So we have the 2025 taxes. At closing, we would recoup the 2026 taxes up through the date of closing.
Yes, the complication comes if we don't have a tax bill for the new year, which is 26. Then my understanding is that they would then take the prior year's tax bill and base it on that.
Okay.
And then the new buyer, whoever that ends up being, would have to eat the rest if there's something different.
which would be us.
Right.
The other problem with the delinquent tax list is there's several estates there. They just have to work themselves out. We will get our money eventually. But
States that haven't gone through probate yet or something,
Or that are in probate.
or that are in probate.
Is that on this list, the ones that are from 2023?
could be,
Okay. That was,
It's about $74,000, I think. So it's a fairly big chunk of money.
79.
well,
I got you. It's
It's-
two different properties, right? Okay, got it.
It's actually,
Okay.
yeah, there's something that now was more recent, but there's older stuff.
say that again, please, Kim.
So there's one owner that has two properties that have had 2 or 3 years on the list. That's definitely in an estate. And we've been in communication, Gretchen has. And then there's one that is, the owner has recently passed away. So that's just starting its process.
Please remind me what the interest charges are on delinquent taxes.
So it's 1% for October, November, December, and then as of January, it goes to 1.5. So it's about 18% after the new year.
That's per month. The
1.5%. They calculated on the first of the month. And then it just keeps adding until it's paid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No incentive to hold off that rate.
No, years ago there was, because the interest was so minor, a lot of people would keep their investment sitting there making more than what the penalty was. So that's why I got raised to cut that practice out. All right, so there seems to be a consensus for a meeting on, let's see, today is the 20th, 27th, or the 3rd of February to get ready for the special meeting.
Is everyone okay with
What date was just offered?
the 3rd? Next Tuesday?
27th or the,
Today's January.
Oh, Tuesday again.
So it would be
Tuesday, the
next Tuesday,
I
the
will
3rd.
not be in town, but
Is there another
Right
date
there.
that works better that we can all
questions,
I'm sorry.
if you're
I
gonna
will
be,
leave you a list of questions.
Yeah.
150 pages worth of questions.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Can't wait.
Sure.
You should,
Do you want to be at this meeting? Do you feel that
no, that's okay.
Okay,
But I may be able to call in depending on when you have it.
okay.
But the library board is remaining neutral on the question of whether to accept the grant or not, but has some concerns. And so I have sent Shauna the write-up that the library put together, and so you should all get a copy of that.
That should be part of our meeting next week.
So it lays out some of the, actually a lot of the questions that probably will be of interest to us.
So if we do Tuesday, the 3rd, what time do you think?
I prefer earlier, but that's me. I mean.
Yeah,
I don't know how you guys
I
feel.
would prefer earlier,
Saving by 7:30.
are you? Yeah, I mean, my preference would be,
Like 6 or 5?
well, even 3 or 4, I mean, in
I
the
could do that.
afternoon.
That works for me.
Does that
Yeah,
work?
that's just,
That works for
you
me
know, I'll
for
show
sure.
up
That sounds
when you
great.
have it. Does that work for you, Denny?
a lot depends on the weather. They say we've got that storm coming in next Sunday, Monday.
Um,
We can always move it if we need to.
Not a lot of people in the meetings. But do we have to warn this?
It has to be, yeah,
Oh, we
But
do?
we
that,
have to warn the meeting,
Of course.
it's a special selectmen's meeting, yeah, we'll warn it,
but it's 24 hours, is it?
we got plenty of time.
No, I'm just thinking if
40, okay.
if the weather turns bad and we can't make the meeting, then, but I guess we don't have to worry about.
Well,
that.
the forecast is, I don't think there's gonna be any precipitation. It just says it's gonna be cloudy, low of 5, high of 24 on Tuesday with no precipitation. And I don't know,
You say the
If
days,
that-
you say the days
But
before. we're
Sunday
having
and
a
Monday,
storm.
right? It's the
Yeah,
storm.
if that's true, what does that,
Let's go for 6 o'clock Tuesday.
okay,
Shauna, can you do that? Can you do 6 p.m.?
I'm gonna throw a name out. To be, I don't know if you wanna call it clerk for the works or overseer, if the project goes through. Because he has knowledge and stuff with groundwork. Jeff. That's how we,
What was that? I'm so sorry.
He's proposing Jeff Yersha to be manager of the project. If it goes through.
I think that's,
I don't know the expertise required for that project. You mean for the
He's
bridge
got the-
project?
he's got the expertise, he knows enough to do it.
I think it's certainly worth considering.
The next question is, I may have missed it. Lisa. Did all the work for FEMA? Did she ever give us a bill for her time?
Yes, she did.
She did.
She did.
Say, I may have missed it.
Okay, I can shoot you a copy of it if you'd like.
No, I don't need a copy. I just want to make sure she got paid for her work.
She presented a bill and it was paid.
Okay.
right, and we're trying to get reimbursement from FEMA.
Right, but
Yeah,
I just want to make sure
yeah,
she got.
she's paid.
We did just get another 25,000 from FEMA. I thought that was what it was covering, so I'll clarify with her.
Okay.
So the lights at the bakery,
Yeah.
Okay.
so we all went to look at the lights at the bakery,
yes.
and what was our feeling about whether they're too bright or not?
Well, my feeling was this, I think I looked in with Jim, and the two lights that were from facing the bakery on the left that are closest to the resident to the left, those two sconces on the left side of the property, if they were off at night, I think that would help a great deal, because the other lights are shining out on 100, not over. to the property,
So these
right?
are
I
on
think
the
that's-
door of the right under the
Yes.
porch.
Correct, to the left, which is the, yeah,
And there are two, light poles, but they've got little gas lights.
yeah, they don't seem
Burning
to
in them,
be.
and they didn't seem too bad. And I must say, to add, to what Brian says, if you drive right through town, there's a lot of light.
Yeah, Claudia's got a lot.
Claudia's got like, I mean, every single
Everything's lit up.
thing, the
Yeah.
playhouse is lit up, the town office is lit up, the
Vermont
post
Country
office has a
Store.
country store,
Yes,
the,
so
the
therefore.
blue store. Well, I think, all I'm saying is that in the context of town, I don't think that the lights that are on there are obviously out of line. But I think, I'm sure Brian and I agree, it would be a really nice gesture on the part of, the Weston and the bakery to turn just those two sconces off.
Yeah, and then they're still getting exposure as people drive through town at night, because the
Yeah.
front lights are on.
And they're getting, light from Claudia's
Yep,
And they've got-
lights.
they have a light on the
There's just
sign,
plenty of
too.
light
Yeah,
there,
they're
but that would be a nice gesture.
Side note, I don't know the hours of operation there. But for example, I'm just using this example, in the wintertime, say they're open till 5, 6 o'clock. When they close the door, the lights go off. I mean, if they're open for business, lights on is one thing. And they close shop, they hit the switch.
So, okay, so I will, but yes, I think that's probably right. So I will call Natalie Boston and request, not insist, but request and say it would be a nice gesture if until that screening that we've been talking about endlessly is put in the spring, it would be a nice gesture if you would turn those lights off.
Those two sconces off,
Okay. I can do
not the
it.
ones
Thank you,
facing
Linda.
Route one
Yeah, no, I
hundred,
get
but
it, yeah. Although it may be
Unless
that
she's
they're on the
willing to
same
do all of them.
switch.
Yeah,
Whatever,
Yeah.
I'll ask her. Okay, great, good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, yeah, well, you could unscrew some light bulbs too.
Natalie, could you please go down every evening and unscrew?
No,
the-
just don't turn them on. Yeah. Cause leaving them on during the day is sort of pointless.
Are they on during the day?
I don't know.
I don't think they
I
That
are.
don't
may
think
be a lot.
anybody would notice.
I'm not sure.
That's. Yeah,
Any idea when that building's open?
Like I said, I didn't know any of the hours. I'm just using for an example.
Don't know
I
either.
can't believe they're gonna be open at night. Well, maybe, who knows?
I had heard it
don't
was
know why
gonna
they
be
say that.
just breakfast and lunch, but you know, who
You
knows?
hear anything?
Yeah, who knows?
You never
Who
know.
knows?
We also heard it was gonna be open for Labor Day 2025.
That's right, and then definitely by the
And
time we
4th of
did Christmas
July.
in Weston.
Yeah, Christmas in Weston, that's right, there were all kinds of opportunities to open and they didn't. But the hole is open.
yeah, he leaves his,
He is.
he
What is
leaves
that?
his lights
Mike.
on sometimes and sometimes not. But it's never, the store is rarely dark when you go by it.
Yeah.
Um,
It wasn't open this morning, I wanted to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he was, this morning he was
He rarely is open in the morning, and that's where he's losing a lot of
I
money.
know, it's all the contractors used to, right, that's what Jeff's business was. I told him once.
Ray Hebert used to say that what he made on the coffee donut business in the morning paid for the employees for the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Me too.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's true.
How much was
100%.
coffee there?
unusual. That's not usual now.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they're at 10. Well, folks, I think we're about halfway through one.
Feels like never ending.
Been-
January 8th.
Oh, do we need to,
Yeah.
we need to close the meeting, right?
Adjourned.
Recording stopped.